Joe Maravich. I'll be the instructor for the seminar, Informed Consent to Dual and Designated Agency, on March the 12th. Here's some of what we're going to be covering together. We all know how important a buyer and a seller counseling session can be, both for the consumer and for the agent. We're going to look closely at those benefits and particularly at some key issues. First of all, agency and fiduciary duties. Do you remember the fiduciary duties? And also have a way of explaining to consumers what the fiduciary duties you give them actually look like in practice? How about when you must become a dual or designated agent? What are the consumers entitled to know in order for an agent to practice consensual dual agency? Are you simply an honest intermediary? Or are you still able to represent the buyer and the seller? What alternatives do you have to dual and/or designated agency? We will look closely at what full disclosure is, how it's coupled with informed consent, and just what is informed consent. What does it look like in practice? If an agent fails to receive informed consent from a consumer, does that constitute negligence? How do you know if the consumer knows what they're saying yes to in your counseling session? We'll be looking at the meaning of the word meaningful, because if the consumer's yes is not with knowledge and understanding, is it really consent? What is the threshold to determine consent? What if the buyer or the seller is agreeing to avoid embarrassment for not understanding the legal document? What if there's a language barrier? Or what if they're Gen X or Gen Y and they can't sit still and they want to get out and see homes? This seminar will spend time examining closely the advantages of having a buyer representation agreement. The buyer representation agreement allows you to talk with the consumer about your compensation. That is, what if the listing broker is offering you less than you're willing to work for? Or what if it's more? What happens to that extra commission? What if you show for sale by owner, where the seller insists on not paying you a fee? What options do you have? Are there words you can insert into an offer to purchase to cover your fee? Are there some you cannot insert? How about collecting fees from both the buyer and the seller? How about selling an REO property or a short sale? Do you know the times you shouldn't represent a buyer? How about the reasons to fire a buyer client? How do you do that? As you can see, this seminar is packed with lots of questions to be answered. If we truly believe that we are licensed to assist and represent the consumer, then they are entitled to know about what that means, what choices they have, what benefits there are to working with you even as a dual agent. Can you explain why your fees stay what they are even though you have reduced your client's representation? Join me in this most interesting and stimulating class. You'll never practice real estate the same again. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you very soon.